Hello, welcome to English Conversations. Let's practice listening and speaking. Are you ready? Let's begin.
What are you reading?
Nothing. Just my horoscope.
Really? What sign are you?
Virgo. My birthday's on September 15th.
So, what does it say?
It says that people will talk about me next week because of something I've done.
But you don't really believe that, do you?
Well, actually, I do. Because I've done something that will make people talk about me.
Oh, what have you done?
I sent an email to my boss yesterday complaining about my new colleague. She's really lazy, and she never does any work.
Did you?
Yes. So my boss will ask the other people in my office about this new person, and he'll probably ask about me, too. So my horoscope is right. People will definitely talk about me next week.
Well, don't worry about it. I'm sure everything will be all right.
I hope so.
Anyway, what about me? What does my horoscope say?
Let me take a look. Your birthday's January 5th, so that makes you a Capricorn.
That's right. So, what does it say?
It says, oh, listen to this. It says you'll get some money next week.
Really? Maybe I should go out and buy a lottery ticket.
No, wait a minute. Let's think about this. You have a meeting with your boss tomorrow, don't you?
Yes. Why?
Maybe she'll give you a raise.
Oh, Amy, really? You're taking this far too seriously. I don't believe a word of it.
Well, I do. I think your boss will raise your salary tomorrow. Maybe she'll offer you a better job.
Amy, you're being a little too optimistic. It's only a horoscope.
I was on vacation, and I was looking around a famous palace when a man came up to me and asked me to take a photo of him. He gave me his camera, but it wasn't working properly. When I gave it back to him, he dropped it on the floor and it broke. I picked it up and went to give it to the man, but he was gone. Then I discovered my wallet was missing.
When I went abroad last year for a business trip, I didn't have time to get any local money before I left. So after I landed, I went straight to the bank to get $300. I was in a hurry because I had a train to catch. The cashier slowly counted out the bills, and when he stopped, I picked them up. When I got to the train station, I realized later that I only had $100.
When we were on vacation, 2 men knocked on the door of our apartment. They were wearing uniforms, and they said they were police officers. One of them came in to look around, while the other stayed by the door. Unfortunately, while we were talking to the first man, the second man took our wallets and cameras from the bedroom.
I was having a problem using the ticket machine in the subway when someone came up to help me. He told me how much money I needed and then offered to put it in the machine for me. I counted out the money, but he said it wasn't enough. I gave him some more money and I got my ticket. Unfortunately, I paid 10 times the price for it.
I was waiting at a bus stop when this beautiful woman came up to me. We started talking, and she invited me to go to a restaurant with her. We had dinner together, and then the waiter brought me an incredibly expensive check. I started to complain, but then I noticed 4 big men at the door who were looking at me. Of course, I paid the check.
Hello, and welcome to the program. Do you ever have the same dream night after night? These dreams are called recurring dreams, and psychologist Dr. William Harris is in the studio today to tell us all about them. Good morning, Dr. Harris.
Hello.
Dr. Harris, Which is the most common recurring dream?
Well, at the top of the list is the dream where someone or something is running after you. Either it's a person or a dangerous animal, like a bull or a lion. The dream means that there's something in your life that you don't want to face. It can be a feeling, a conflict, or a memory, for example. But whatever it is, it's something that you don't want to deal with.
Okay. What's the next dream on the list?
It's the one where you are falling for what seems like a very long time. Falling is a definite sign that you are out of control. You have lost direction in your life, and you don't know what to do.
Yes, I've had that dream before. Not recently, though. Anyway, what other recurring dreams are there?
This is another fairly common dream. You're trying to get somewhere, but you get lost on the way, and you don't know where you are. People often have this dream when they're going through a period of change. It shows that they don't want to accept the new situation.
Okay, Dr. Harris. Do you have any more recurring dreams for us?
Yes, there are two. The first dream is a good one. Some people have a recurring dream that they are flying through the air. They are enjoying it and enjoying looking down on the world below. This shows that they are feeling free, possibly because they have solved a problem they had, or they have escaped from a difficult situation in their life.
And the last dream?
This one isn't so good. It's a feeling of being trapped. Maybe you are in an elevator that's trapped between floors and you can't get out. This dream means that there is something in your life that's making you feel unhappy, and you feel that you cannot change it.
Dr. Harris, that was very interesting. Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
What is it?
They've decided to ban jokes about mothers-in-law.
Who has?
The government. They've written a brochure for workers who have to deal with the public, and it says that mother-in-law jokes are offensive.
Well, I suppose they are really. I mean, there are a lot of mothers-in-law out there, and the jokes are about them.
No, but it's just fun, right? I mean, I think it's really important to have a sense of humor. It's good for you. It makes you feel better.
That's easy for you to say, isn't it? You're a man, so you'll never be a mother-in-law. I will one day.
Yes, but you won't be my mother-in-law, will you? Sorry, I was only joking.
Does it say anything else about the jokes?
Yes, it says they show disrespect for parents.
Okay, well, maybe they do. Young people are healthy, fit, and attractive. It's easy for them to laugh at older people, don't you think?
Oh, come on. These jokes about mothers-in-law have been around since Roman times.
Where did you get that idea from?
It says here that there's a Roman writer named Juvenal, who said in the 1st century A.D., wait, listen to this. It's impossible to be happy when one's mother-in-law is still alive. That's classic. And all the best comedians tell jokes about mothers-in-law, too. I think they're funny.
Like I said, that's because you're a man, and the comedians you're talking about are also men. It's just another example of the sexist world we live in. I mean, there aren't many jokes about fathers-in-law, are there?
Oh, for goodness sake.
I like singing while I'm taking a shower. The bathroom is a great place to sing because nobody can hear you. At least, I hope nobody can hear, because I sing really loudly. I usually sing very old classic songs, which I'd never sing in public.
I always feel like singing when I'm alone in my car on a summer's day. I turn up the radio, open the window, and sing along to whatever comes on. I don't do this in the middle of town, of course, only if I'm driving through the country. But I must say I find it really relaxing.
I've always really enjoyed singing with the kids I teach. I'm an elementary school teacher. Young children love singing, and they like it even more if the songs have actions. It's amazing how much they learn from songs. There are alphabet songs, counting songs, and all kinds, really. We always have a lot of fun when we're singing together.
Actually, I can't sing very well at all, so I'm always really embarrassed if I have to sing in public. When I was in high school, I had to be in the school choir, but I never actually sang. I just mouthed the words and pretended to sing.
When I'm out with my friends, we sometimes go to a karaoke in town. It's one of my favorite places because we always have a good time. We spend most of the evening singing together, and nobody seems to mind if we do it badly. In fact, it's better if we do sing badly because it makes everybody laugh.
And here's some good news for one of the world's endangered languages. There are about 6,000 languages in the world today, and experts say that nearly half of them are dying out. That means that around 3,000 languages will disappear in the next century or so. One language in danger of dying out is the Cherokee language, spoken by the Cherokee people of North America. Or at least it was in danger until the leaders of the tribe decided to do something about it. They got worried when they realized that only 8,000 of the 290,000 Cherokee people in the world today actually spoke the language, and they came up with a plan. They got in touch with the electronics company Apple and asked them to include Cherokee on the official list of languages used on their products. At first, it seemed impossible that Apple would take any notice of the Cherokee because their products already had 50 languages on them. The big surprise came in September 2006, when the Apple iOS 4.1 operating system was released with Cherokee on the official list of languages. Since then, the Cherokee people have been able to use their language on all Mac computers, iPhones, the iPod Touch, and the iPad. These devices were popular with the younger members of the tribe from the start, but now the older members are taking an interest too, especially those who use cell phones. So it looks as if the Cherokee language won't die out just yet after all. And if the language stays alive, the culture will stay alive too, something that the leaders of the tribe will be very happy about.
I don't usually talk about my problems, but if something's going wrong, I sometimes mention it to Phil. He's on my basketball team, and we get along okay. In fact, he's the one who introduced me to the girl I'm dating right now.
The person who I talk to most is my sister. We don't look like each other at all, but we both have very similar personalities. She's a really good listener, and she always gives me good advice. She sometimes tells me her problems too, and I try to help her.
My friend Jenny is in some of my classes at college, and I tell her absolutely everything. We're very different, which means we often think in different ways. Sometimes we argue, but we're never angry with each other for long, just until one of us apologizes.
The person who understands me most is my friend John, who lives next door. We've grown up together, so he knows me pretty well. My main problem right now is my job, which I hate. John thinks I should look for a new one, and he's probably right.
My grandma lives with us, and I spend a lot of time talking to her. Although she's older than me, she's always interested in what I have to say. We have a lot in common, and some things that have happened to me also happened to her when she was young.
Now, everyone loves traveling, and we all enjoy telling stories about the places we've been to. But what happens if there's an earthquake while you're away? Travel expert Monica Fields is here in the studio with us today to give us some tips on what to do in a natural disaster. First of all, Monica, is it possible to avoid them?
Well, no, actually, it isn't. Nobody really knows exactly when a disaster like a forest fire or a blizzard will happen, so you can't really avoid it. What you can do, however, is be prepared.
How can you do that?
Well, first of all, if you plan to visit a region where there are natural disasters at certain times of the year, try not to go at that time. For example, there are often bad storms, hurricanes, or cyclones in the Caribbean in August and September, so don't go there then.
That sounds sensible. What else can you do?
It's really important to buy travel insurance before you go. This will pay for extra nights in a hotel, for example, if you can't fly home and have to stay at your resort longer than you had planned. I never understand why some people don't get travel insurance.
Right. So, what should you do if a natural disaster actually happens while you're abroad?
The first thing you should do is to stay calm and be patient.
That sounds easy, Monica, but natural disasters can be very frightening, can't they?
Yes, of course. But if you panic, things will only get worse. Secondly, you need to contact your family and friends at home as soon as possible. If they hear about the disaster on the news, they'll be extremely worried.
Yes, I can see that. What else should you do?
Well, it's always a good idea to know what your airline will do if there's a natural disaster. If you are flying to a country where natural disasters are frequent, you should ask your airline when you book your ticket if they will change your ticket if you need to leave the country quickly, or if you have to stay longer because there's a natural disaster.
Thank you for joining us, Monica, and thanks for your useful advice.
Did you watch TV last night, Kim?
No, I didn't. What was on?
There was a really interesting cooking show on after dinner.
There was? What made it so good?
Well, it was a sort of experiment, really. They were trying to answer the question, do men and women cook differently?
Really? So what did they do to try to find the answer?
They invited a male cook and a female cook to prepare 5 different courses of a meal. Both cooks had to use the same main ingredient for each course, but they didn't have to make the same dish. Then, they served the dishes to a panel of judges who tasted them and decided if they were made by the man or the woman.
Who are the judges?
Well, there were 2 men and 2 women. They were all food experts, either chefs themselves or restaurant critics.
What about the cooks? Were they professionals too?
Yes, they were from 2 of the best restaurants in the country.
And what kinds of things did they cook?
All kinds of things, really. But the only ones I remember are a meat dish with garlic and a bright pink dessert.
What was so special about those 2 dishes?
I remember them because the judges had real problems deciding if they were made by the male chef or the female chef. In the end, they all got it wrong.
So, did they manage to answer the question then? Do men cook differently from women?
Not really. The only conclusion they came to was that it was impossible to tell if a particular dish was made by a man or a woman. That's all, really.
So it was a waste of time then, really?
No, it wasn't. I really enjoyed the show, even if they didn't answer the question.
And our final story on tonight's program is about an Australian diver who has survived a shark attack. 46-year-old Eric Nurhus was fishing off the coast of Cape Howe, New South Wales, when a great white shark attacked him. He was under the water at the time, and he didn't see the animal swimming towards him. Mr. Nurhus's head, shoulders, and one of his arms ended up in the shark's mouth. But, fortunately, he was wearing a heavy metal vest. When the shark tried to bite the man in half, its teeth hit the vest and not his body. Mr. Nurhus knew he had to do something, so he felt for the shark's eye with the hand of his other arm. When he found it, he surprised the animal by pressing his fingers into its eye. The shark reacted by opening its mouth, giving Mr. Nurhus a chance to escape. Despite his injuries, Eric managed to swim up to the surface of the water. His son pulled him onto his boat and took him quickly to the shore. Meanwhile, another friend called emergency services. Mr. Nurhus was flown to a hospital by helicopter. He had deep cuts all over his body and a broken nose, but he was very lucky to be alive. Attacks by great white sharks usually result in death because of their size and strength. The shark that attacked Mr. Nurhus was over 9 feet long.
Hello, and welcome to the program. Today, we have psychologist Dr. Chris Hopper in the studio with us to answer your questions about phobias. Hello, Chris.
Good morning.
And our first caller is Cynthia Sharp from San Diego. What's your question, Cynthia?
Hello, Dr. Hopper. My question is actually about my son, James. He's 6 years old, and he had a bad experience with a dog last night.
I'm sorry to hear that, Cynthia. What exactly happened?
Well, we were outside a neighbor's house, and I was talking with the mom when one of her dogs ran out. It was a big dog, and it came running out of the house, barking. James panicked and tried to hide behind me, but the dog jumped on him and bit him. It wasn't a serious injury, but we're very worried that he'll be afraid of dogs now. We don't want him to get a phobia. What should we do?
Well, Cynthia, you're right to be worried about this incident because cynophobia, that is, a fear of dogs, is often caused by a bad experience with a dog as a child. The best thing you can do is to give your son a positive experience with a different dog as soon as possible. If you have any friends who have a quiet and friendly dog, go and visit them. Let your son touch the dog if he wants to, and don't remind him about his bad experience.
That sounds like good advice, Chris. And our next caller is Natalie Williams from Seattle. Natalie?
Hello, and welcome to those of you who just joined us. Continuing on our theme of celebrity families, the focus of today's program is actress and singer Judy Garland and her daughter, Liza Minnelli. Now, Judy Garland's real name was Frances Ethel Gum, and she was born on June 10, 1922 in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Her parents ran a theater, and Judy first appeared on stage singing a Christmas song with her 2 older sisters when she was 2 years old. When she was 13, Judy joined the movie company Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and at the age of 16, she played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. The movie was extremely successful, and she won a Children's Oscar for her performance. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer terminated her contract in 1950. However, she continued to perform, and in 1964, she did a series of concerts at the London Palladium. In fact, it was in London where Judy Garland was found dead in 1969. Judy got married 5 times and had 3 children. One of these children was Liza Minnelli, who was 23 when her mother died. Liza was born in Hollywood, California, on March 12, 1946. She grew up in movie studios and, like her mother, made her first stage appearance at the age of 2. She was only 5 when her parents got divorced. After performing successfully with her mother at the London Palladium in 1964, Liza became a professional nightclub singer. She made several albums and later starred as a singer in the 1972 movie Cabaret, a role for which she won an Oscar. Despite her successful singing and acting career, Liza has had similar problems to her mother. She has been married 4 times, but, unlike her mother, she never had children. Today, Liza Minnelli is in her 60s, but she still makes occasional television appearances.